Hi guys, I haven't posted in a very long time, and honestly, if you are subscribed only for the Riley content or the open-ended play content, that area of the videos that I have been posting or had been posting, honestly, I don't think I will be making any more of that type of content. It's why I haven't posted in a long time, and it's why when I was posting, even that was getting more and more and more spread out with time, because honestly, Riley is 6 now, which is crazy. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, at some point it starts to feel weird sharing so much of your child. I have no problem sharing her. I know some of you follow me on Instagram under the same handle, Attached Mummy, and there I share, like, in the stories quite often, like little snippets of her or all sorts of other things. So it's not that I'm against sharing her, but having like content just completely based on it, that feels weird to me. I have nothing against people who make that type of content. I consume a lot of that content. But yeah, I don't think I'll be continuing to make that content. And honestly, honestly, this past year, she's gotten very into Minecraft and Roblox, but she's like a serious Minecraft fiend. And if I wanted to do content on how she plays these days, it'd be like Minecraft, which, by the way, my opinion on it is it's brilliant for children to be playing that game. There's just so much involved in that game with creativity and really using your brain. I can't play the game. It's too complex for me. Yeah, but she builds amazing architectural structures in that game, and you have to use survival instincts, all sorts. It's great. But I'm not here to talk about Minecraft. This is a completely different area, or I don't even know what to call it, just of topics that I've talked on in the past. No, this is like just, well, actually, my content has not been consistent over many years. It has had lots of changes as I've grown and changed, but there has been one consistent thing in my content, and that has stayed true to the fact that I march to my own beat. And a lot of, here's the norm. This is what most people do. And then here's me over here. And my content has consistently been over here. I started over here in like the raw food world as a mostly fruit-based eater, and I had the content for a while where we were lucky enough to have an extended stay in Thailand, and then it went to my pregnancy. But it's all like that with childbirth and raising Riley was all based on alternative parenting. I don't even like calling it alternative parenting, but it's just not the norm, right? With the attachment parenting style. So my content has always been up here, and that will continue to be that way, because if we all know one thing, it's that I am very not normal. And that being said, I have been experiencing this is awkward for me to talk about, because it's something that I would have judged as being not utter crap, but just not something I believed in. It's something I would have judged harshly, but I have been experiencing a quite interesting spiritual awakening in several months now. Probably honestly the past couple years it's really been building up, but the past 5-6 months have been quite explosive with things coming up in my life that have been undeniable. And yeah, so that being said, I think and operate not differently because I'm the same person, but I have a lot more spirituality now, because before I was like, it's not, I never said I don't believe in God. I was always like, well, I don't know what to believe in. Like, I don't disbelieve in it, but I don't really follow any specific religion because I hadn't found anything that like fully resonated. And now I'm like very positive that God exists, and I believe in angels, and I believe that they're very present in our lives. I believe I have a spirit guide that is very present in my life. I'm going on a tangent again. I don't want to talk about this right now, only because it will get too long, and I'm already 6 minutes in. Some things never change. I talk a lot. So anyway, to the topic. I have been recently having dreams that I've been journaling on my dreams for a long time. Really since a lot of this stuff has been going on in my life in a very just things have been happening at a fast pace lately. It's accelerated. So when things really started accelerating the past however many months, I started journaling all of my dreams. I journal all the thoughts that come up to my brain on a daily basis. My journal is like this big, and then on top of that I have like oracle card journaling, I have dream journaling, I have manifestation journaling. And manifestation is actually what I'm here to talk about today. But my point was, because I went off on another tangent, is lately when I've been journaling about my dreams, it's as if I'm getting downloads as I journal, explaining the meaning behind the dream, because I'm sure you all can relate that a lot of times dreams can be really random and not make much sense. Even if you take the time to journal on it, or even just to recall it and try to think about it and make sense of it, it's hard to understand what the message behind the dream is. And that has been for sure my experience most of the time. But yeah, very recently I've been having dreams that seem incredibly mundane, but as I journal, literally as I'm writing down the dream, just downloads of what it means are coming into my brain. And for me, it's been quite profound messages, and I have been quite pushed to open up my throat chakra. I'm getting real existential here, and use my voice to talk about this message and share the messages that I've been receiving. I have been getting strong guidance to do this, so I'm interested to see if I just do this and put this out there, if I can move on to the next level or step, whatever it would be called. So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about my dream, and you can decide how ridiculously mundane it is, and then I'm going to attach into it this manifestation idea, or this process technique. We'll call it a manifestation technique, and this is completely different from any manifestation technique that I have ever heard of before. And it is, so basically, if you can accept what I'm about to tell you as even a possible truth, you don't even have to accept it as the absolute truth. If you can just accept it as a possible truth, if you could believe in it enough to practice it, I really believe that we collectively can have really profound results with our manifestations. So basically in this dream, I'll give you a short overview because it was just a quick part of the dream that I remembered. And when I went to journal about it, I didn't think anything of it. It was like a playground had just been built and they were having like a party to celebrate this new playground that had been built in this area. So I was walking up to the playground and the person that was with me was my husband. Except because it was a dream, it like it was my husband, but like I don't remember it necessarily looking like Duncan. But it was definitely him. That's just how dreams are, right? Do you ever have like a feeling like you know who the person is in the dream, but it doesn't necessarily look like the person that you know it is? Yeah, so it was like that. But we're walking up to this playground for the first time. It's a brand new playground. It's just been opened, and this is like its like launch party. And I'm going up this climbing frame. And I remember in the dream, I had this feeling of fear because it was my first time doing it. But at the same time, I was pulling up a memory of how I had done the climbing frame before, and I was walking myself through the steps. So I was literally remembering how I had gotten across the climbing frame to finish it. So I remember like following the steps into my memory. All right, you put your foot here, you put your arm here. You've done this before. It's no big deal. You can do this again. And I worked my way across the climbing frame, and then I like got down, and I had Duncan standing across from me, like, and he was just like, wow, you just did that? Like, how the heck did you do that? Because I'm not a sporty person. I'm not somebody who can just go up on a climbing frame and like monkey bar myself across it. That's just not who I am or who I've ever been. And he was just like shocked that I was able to do that so seamlessly and easily. And because it was my first time ever doing it. Well, if it was my first time ever doing it, how was I pulling up a memory of myself doing it, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. But a lot of times in dreams, we have these things happen that don't make logical sense. But in a dream, you just kind of accept it because you're like, whatever, it's a dream, who cares? Well, as I was journaling, I realized that what I was basically doing in the dream was I was accessing, maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't, the Akashic Records. And what that is it's believed to be a different plane. So we're in the third dimension, right? So this is a different dimension where everything that has been, is, and will be all exists on this plane. And I was accessing this plane to pull the future timeline where I had achieved getting across this climbing frame already, and pulling that into my brain, and then going through all of the steps that I took to get across to get across. And if I've lost you, don't worry, I'm going to try to backtrack and explain that a little bit more. But yeah, so this is basically just a manifestation technique that instead of imagining that you, like most manifesting, either for me, you generally hear about it in two ways. And the first way is just kind of like this ask, believe, receive notion where all you have to do is put it out into the universe. And by putting it out into the universe, now you have the possibility of it coming back to you because you've actually asked for it, because you don't get what you don't ask for. And then the other common technique that you tend to hear about is asking for something, but really focusing on it and thinking about every detail that could possibly go around that scenario. So you think of what you want your future to be, and then you think of all the details, like you imagine yourself in that scenario and you really think about it, and then you work your way towards it. And this, what was so profound about this method is that I wasn't imagining my future. I was accessing the future timeline so that I was going through a memory. And by shifting it to a memory, not a what if, like what if I can. This isn't a what if I can. This is I did, so I can do it again. And this takes a really, it takes a deep understanding of the fact that on a quantum level, time does not exist. Time is a human construct that, you know, we've created so we can understand. It helps us to understand and navigate our lives, right? It's like using time helps us put structure into our life. And it's hard because I can say time doesn't exist, but I 100% operate on time all of the time. So even trying to explain this manifestation technique requires me to use time as examples, even though I'm trying to say that time doesn't exist. But genuinely, on a quantum level, we know by science that time does not exist. Time is seen as units that exist out there, and these units just are all over the place. They're not linear. We've created this past, present, future timeline to help understand our lives. It just gives structure to things for us because as 3D beings, we really like structure, and that's what we use to define a lot of how we live. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, and if you, I understand that it's hard to understand and it's hard to take in if this is the first time you're hearing of it. I do believe that probably a lot of people who have followed me over the years are already into some different thinkings, and probably a lot of you already understand that time does not exist. But if this is something new to you, literally just go into Google, go into YouTube, and like look up quantum theory, time, search, and just read a bit. And just even having that general idea being opened up to you, even if you don't fully accept it yet, it will help in manifesting and understanding that this is a possibility. Trying to explain it in a different way that some people might understand better is this idea that God, we're given free will, so we get to choose what we want to do, but somehow he knows everything that we've done, everything that we are doing, and everything that is in our future. Well, how does he know what's in our future if we have free will? I see it kind of as another, we've got the tree of life, right? And it's used in a lot of different examples. So timelines can just kind of be seen as like all these branches, and we've got main timelines we could follow are like your thicker branches, and then all of these like smaller branches can kind of come down to like the butterfly effect, where like they still have an effect that can really bring you out into like all different directions, but it's not changing your main timeline. But it can have like an effect that, you know, branches can like, you know, it can start over here, but with branches on a tree, it could like bring you over here, like off the screen. Yeah, so if you just look at timeline as the branches on the tree, and a tree, like it grows and it grows and it grows and it kind of offshoots and it keeps offshooting indefinitely, right? And basically choosing the timeline that you're trying to access, or choosing the timeline that you want to be on, it's like plucking it out, saying, I want the timeline where I'm over here at this place in my life. And because I'm plucking that out, now I'm going to download the memory, and I'm going to keep it into my being so that I remember it so vividly that I can now live through it in the present until I manifest up to that point. I hope I'm making sense. I really, really hope I'm making sense. It's something I probably should have taken notes for to explain, to be clearer, but if I had to do that, I probably never would have gotten here, because as it is, I've already sat on this for a couple weeks. Yeah, and it needs to get done. But you know, I'm like living my mom life, and just there's so many things going on all of the time. Great things, amazing things, life is good. But yeah, I really wanted to share this manifestation technique with you guys. If there's anything that is not being understood because I haven't explained it clearly, and I feel like there were a lot of things that I'd thought on that I probably haven't conveyed or I've forgotten about. Yeah, so if I've lost you at some point, just leave a comment down below. I do have other messages that have been coming through that I would like to share with you when I get time. But yeah, I mean, this has taken 22 minutes out of my life, so that's not so bad. I can deal with that, especially when I can just sit down and film it in one take and just put it out there to the world. So if this is, you know what, it doesn't even have to be well received. As long as one person hears the message and gets it, that's worth it to me. So like, if you've received anything from this, leave a comment down below and I've got more to share. Yeah, and if it completely doesn't resonate with anybody, like that's like a pretty big message to go on and do my own thing. Yeah, but if you do try this, oh, actually, yeah, there was one other thing. Sorry, I'm like tricking you guys, making you think that this is going to be over, but if you're watching this, you probably can already see that it's a longer video, so I don't feel too bad. There was something else I wanted to do, and that was just to basically tell you, like, if this sounds like so crazy ridiculous, like, no, that doesn't work, start small. Start really small, because with a lot of things, repetition helps so much, because repetition is what makes it. This was the whole point of the dream. In the dream, I wasn't thinking about manifesting. I just was doing it automatically without thinking. It was like how we blink, how we breathe. We don't think about it. I mean, we can think about it and force it. We can force our breathing. We can force our blinking. But when you don't think about it, it doesn't stop, right? So in the dream, I was manifesting without even thinking about it. So yeah, I'm not telling you to like manifest a trip to Bora Bora, like as your first manifestation technique. If you can do that, bless you. That's amazing. That's awesome. You go get it. Like, great. But I think for most people, most of us, that's like a bit high. But where you can start is you could be like how many of us tell ourselves we don't have time in a day for something that we like really do have time for? So it's like, I really wish I could get my nails done, but you know what? I don't really have time for it, or I don't really have the money for that. The reality is it's not that much money, and it doesn't have to take that much time. So, I mean, to start off, you know, like as your first manifestation, it can be something as simple as, I already told, like, take something that you've already told yourself you don't have time for, or that you can't accomplish, but that it's actually something you really could. Because a lot of ourselves, we tell ourselves no so often in our lives for things that we have no reason or no business telling ourselves no to. When you're a mom, we don't take time to shower as often as we could, because we say, I don't have time for it. Now, a shower could happen in 5 minutes and you can make the time. It can be hard to get the motivation to make the time. And I understand there's a lot of different things that play into that with mental health and everything, but we can make the time. So start small, and then just pick out the timeline where you know that, or you have to have faith in believing that there is a timeline on that tree that the tree of life, there is a timeline in one of those branches where you were able to get your nails done, where you were able to take the shower, even though you've already told yourself that it's not a possibility for today. But you know what? Of course it's a possibility. How is it not a possibility? Like, anything is possible. You just have to believe in it. So you like take that memory, because it's happened, because time is not linear. Even though we're looking to the future, it's a memory, because time exists as units, not in a linear fashion. And this is understood in quantum physics. So take that memory and see it as a memory. It's very important that you're viewing it as a memory, because this helps the manifestation process so strongly. Because if you know that you've achieved something, what are you going to do in your day to ruin it if you already know that it's happening? It's very different. What if is so different from I did. I mean, what if I can is a strong statement. It's a very strong statement when we tell ourselves no all day. But I did it, that's an even stronger statement. So we're taking a memory from the future, we're downloading the memory into our head, and we're using that memory to manifest that reality into our life right now. How do we download that memory? You could meditate on it. So you could literally sit there and just find your center and breathe and think about everything. You go backwards. For this part, start at the goal, at the top of the memory from where you plucked it down, and work your way backwards. So you see yourself in the nail salon. You know, you see yourself with your nails all perfect. You picture the color that you've picked out. You picture the design you've picked out. You picture them greeting you as you walk into the salon. You picture yourself reading a magazine or like texting on your phone. What did you watch? And you just work your way backwards. You picture yourself driving there. You picture yourself, getting your money together and ready, because you don't want to be rooting into your purse with your nails just done all wet. Picture everything that you did in that memory and work your way back and like download that into your brain so that you can go through those steps again. Like, it's there. It's all there because it's happened. And yeah, and anyway, I think I've said enough of that. If meditating isn't your thing, journal it. If you can't meditate, meditating's not for everybody, that's fine. I do think that meditation can be incredibly profound if you can find it in yourself to learn how to enjoy it. But if that isn't your thing, journal it. I mean, honestly, journaling is a form of meditation, because you just kind of get into it and you can get lost in it. So if you can't meditate, journal it. If you're not journaling it, if journaling is not even your thing, or you're like, I don't have time for that. That takes a long time to write things down, especially from like, how far into the future are you going? Like, how much do you have to write down? Take a voice note on your phone. Just talk about it. I mean, that's great, because you don't even have to download it in your head so much. You've got it all like saved on your phone as a voice note. Do whatever works for you to get all of the steps really solid in your head. So you're not thinking on, how do I achieve this goal? No, you're thinking on how you achieved it already. And that is, to me, that was just like such a profound realization that like, oh my God, we can do that. We can do that. Why can't we do that? We can do that. We can do anything. We can do anything we want. And you can progress to bigger things, because I realize that most people will still look at something like getting their nails done, taking that 5-minute shower. They'll look at that and go, yeah, but that wasn't manifestation. That was just me making it happen. Ding dong. What do you think a manifestation is? Manifestation is making something happen for yourself. It's the same thing. It's just semantics. So just keep leveling it up. Start small, but it's really I mean, manifestation is just telling yourself, yes, I can, over and over and over again, instead of no, no, no. Most of us live our lives telling ourselves no all day long. Let's start telling ourselves yes, and let's start doing it by finding that reality that already exists as a possibility. It's already there in our timeline of possibilities, of different trajectories that our life can take. Just find the one that you want to be on. Why do you got to keep telling yourself no so that you end up over there where you don't want to be? When this timeline exists on your life and it's over here, it's like way in the opposite direction, but it exists as a possibility. So all you got to do is choose it. All you got to do is give yourself the guidance that you need to take the steps to get there. But you have to understand that that possibility, it already exists. It's not a future of it could happen. No, all you have to do is choose it, and it did happen already. Because time isn't linear. Time doesn't exist. Time is just units that exist in space, just all over the place. Choose to accept it. If it resonates with you and you can accept it, you are going to accomplish amazing things. If it doesn't make sense to you, that's totally fine. You can think I'm crazy, because if I heard this like 6 months ago, I would have told myself I was crazy. So that's totally fine. I accept that. And I still appreciate all of you. But yeah, just leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on. Sorry, like there's like a sun back there somewhere behind the clouds, and it's like raining. So like there's this weird hazy sunlight coming through. But it's giving me a really nice glow. Thanks for listening, and I hope somebody has gotten something out of it. I hope that somebody has really received this message, because to me, it's incredibly powerful, and I really think it can, I just think it's really empowering in how we can all view our lives and take control of it and get all of the things that we desire, so that we can all be really happy. And that's it. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys for another video if you want to listen. So just let me know. Bye guys.